So what happens next? A little before the deaths I mentioned, Amuro discovers classified information on Project V lying on the ground. That's when he discovers that the project is actually a mobile suit created by the Federation designed to be more advanced than the Zeon Zaku's. He discovers said mobile suits and pilots it. Alright, we have our hero and our titular giant robot rising against the great evil of the show. Don't forget, Mobile Suit Gundam was a different kind of giant robot enemy. It makes it less clear on who the good guys and bad guys are. I doubt it. I mean, the setup is so obvious. The green robots are built by the bad guys, and the Gundam is built by the good guys. I mean, it's the Earth Federation. Since when have you ever heard of the Earth itself being a symbol for the bad guys? The line between good and evil in Gundam gets a lot blurrier when we dive deeper into this timeline. Wait, what do you mean timeline? Moving on! Amuro pilots the Gundam to fight off the Zaku's invading Site 7, but he makes a major blunder in the process. Oh no, what did he do? Well, we learned that all mobile suits in the anime are powered by nuclear reactors when Amuro chases a fleeing Zaku and slices it in half with one of his lightsabers. The Gundam has lightsabers! Yes. And he hits the Zaku in its nuclear engine, causing an explosion that creates a giant hole inside 7. Oh snap. What's worse, his father gets sucked into space. Oh my god, does he survive? Spoilers. The other Zaku attempts to avenge his comrade, but Amuro defeats it by striking it in the cockpit, giving us this iconic shot. However, we also get this. Whoa. Yeah, you can see the PTSD kicking in as the anime lingers on this for a while. At the end of the episode, the commander of the Musai, Char Aznavour, receives word of the destroyed Zaku's. Both this and the next episode demonstrate how technologically advanced the Gundam is. Even in the hands of an inexperienced civilian, this machine is the stuff of nightmares to the opposition. Speaking of the next episode, what happens next? We're introduced to more of the principal cast as what's left of the Federation staff and crew scramble to both defend the colony from the Musai's attacks and retrieve the materials for Project V, while the civilians continue to evacuate Site 7 by boarding the Federation ship known as White Base, the main setting of the series. Looks like a horse. Funny you should say that. But later, the only surviving senior commanding officer of White Base, Captain Paulo Cassius, takes part in the defense of Site 7, but becomes fatally injured in the process. Oh no. Oh yes. This anime really gives you a hard impression of just how dire the situation is. Meanwhile, in the Musai, Char contacts one of his superiors, Admiral Dozel. The Admiral stood irritated with Char due to the fact that he was a no-show for a party held in his honor. Seriously? A party? This conversation highlights the disconnect between the leadership of Zeon and the boots on the ground. Char confirms with the Admiral the existence of the Federation's mobile suit, but said discovery cost 2 Zaku's. Let me guess, this never happened before. Precisely. The Admiral orders Char to gather more intel on Project V, as well as capturing the Gundam. Back on the colony, the battle proved itself to be a lot worse to survive through than initially believed. How much worse are we talking about? Almost all of the original crew of White Base are dead. Those who are left are either critically injured or practically on death's door. The only ones who can operate the various stations of the ship are civilians with skills that match their assigned roles. And they just so happen to be the main characters of the anime. Speaking of the main cast, 2 are examples of the archetypes you see in anime like Mobile Suit Gundam in general. One, called Kai Shiden, is the kind of character whose only concern is saving his own skin at first. Wait, what do you mean at first? Spoilers! The other is Sayla Maz, who is willing to give her life to the cause and is not afraid to do her part, for reasons personal to her. I'd ask why, but spoilers. Yes. Well, either way, this ship is going to need more people like her, considering the uphill battle that's going to take place, right? You have no idea. The situation is so dismal that the discovery of Amuro piloting the Gundam floors the entire crew. Not for long, though. At the same time, Char assembles a scouting unit to gather intel about Project V, as well as capturing the Gundam, should the opportunity present itself. The unit splits as they arrive at the colony to locate White Base, or what they call the Trojan Horse. Why call it that? Aside from its shape, the Federation disguised it as a civilian transport when they brought it to Site 7. Not to mention, many of its armaments were unknown to Zeon at the time. Back at the colony, both Frau and Sayla search for remaining survivors. During Sayla's search, she spots someone at the site of the battlefield from the first episode, where she later discovers it to be a Zeon soldier who so happens to be Char. He takes advantage of the fact that she is a civilian. Makes sense. She's never killed anyone. As far as we know, Char manages to get away from her, but in that moment, a side mystery is established as the two feel familiar to each other. Char eventually makes it inside the hangar where White Base is located, but Amuro spots him while transferring materials from Project V into White Base. The interim captain, Bright Noah, alerts every able-bodied person within White Base to shoot down the intruder. Char manages to gather enough intel on White Base, only to lose it during his escape. I know they're in opposition with each other, but this is getting intense. That's the point. This anime isn't just a giant robot anime. It's a war drama. As Amuro still piloted the Gundam, he was ordered to shoot down Char. Amuro obeys, but has difficulty to do so as his PTSD emerges. The Musai arrives to give Char and his unit whatever Zaku's they had left, one standing out the most. This prompts White Base to exit the colony, with the surviving original crew assisting the basically newly drafted crew on how to operate their stations. The battle begins. The Musai attacks first as it launches missiles at White Base, while one Zaku charges towards the enemy at speeds Captain Paolo is dreadfully familiar with. We get a little bit of lore in the anime as Captain Paolo tells the crew that Char attacked at speeds like this during the Battle of Lu. Is that the only time it's mentioned? Spoilers. What happens next? Both the Gundam and Char Zaku face off. The fight highlights the difference between both opponents. Char is more experienced in mobile suit combat and is familiar with the abilities and limitations of Zaku. Amuro, on the other hand, is as green as they come, relying on the technology of the Gundam just to survive. How advanced the offensive capabilities of the Gundam is not lost on Char as he retreats, much to his frustration. In the last scene of the episode, Amuro returns to White Base and reports to the bridge to meet with Bright Noah. He gets drafted into the Federation military, but not before Bright reprimands Amuro for relying on the technology of the Gundam to get through the battle with Char. Although frustrated with how he's treated, Amuro has no choice but to suck it up and accept his new responsibilities. Well, that's a way to end an episode.